to Women Made New. I'm your host, Crystalina Ever. Thank you for joining me and tuning in. Today, I have 4 beautiful women that I met and that headed up this conference that I did in Denver, Colorado. And I went to Joan of Arc Catholic Church and they put on a talk there. And I thought, well, since I have these amazing, wonderful, strong women of God, I just wanted to know how they got where they are at, because we all know their struggles. We all know there are tough times in all of our lives. But how do you get from point A to be, right? And having that deep love for Jesus and serving him, knowing him, loving him, and executing his will in your life. And those are the questions I wanted to just sit down and ask these different moms. So without further ado, we are going to get right into it. To Women Made New. I'm your host, Crystalina Ever. Thank you for joining me and tuning in. Today, everyone, I am in Denver, Colorado, Arvada exactly, and I am at Joan of Arc Parish, and I just finished giving a Women Made New presentation. And while I was praying before I came out to this event, I thought it would be a lot of fun to interview the women that host me. And I just wanted to ask them a couple questions and just know how they started this, why they started this, what led them to do this, and how they kind of followed through and how they knew it was God's will. And I think these are things women in general ask, and especially moms ask with all of our busy lives and the busyness that we get involved with. And how do we know it's God's will or just our busyness doing good things? And we think it's God's will, or we kind of force God's will into our will, you know? And there's just a lot to talk about here. So without further ado, I am here with these ladies and I am going to let them introduce themselves. So here we have
Alicia Brueggemann. I've got 2 children. I have a 12-year-old girl and a 9-year-old boy.
Rachel Jackson. I have 5 girls, she just turned 15 yesterday, a 10-year-old, 8-year-old, 4-year-old, and a 2-year-old.
And I'm Rachel Capra. I also have 5 children, but I have a boy right in the middle. So I have 2 older girls. They're 17 and... No, they're not. They're 18 and they're 16. Sorry.
Hey, join the club. Join that club.
Just kidding.
I do that all the time. You're in good company. No problem.
Yes. My son is 14. That is right. And then I have 2 younger girls who are 12 and 9.
And my name is Amy Mintz. I have 4 daughters, ages 11, 8, 5, and 1.
Yay. And you know what? Let's just full disclosure here. When I call to get doctor's appointments for my kids, the pediatrician, the front office is like, okay, what's your child's birthday? And I literally half the time I don't know because I have 8 birthdays to keep track of. And it looks so bad, like I stole my children or something and I don't know their birthday. So you know what? We forget them all the time, especially moms like me who have multiple, I'm a grand multip. So we have multiple children. So no problem. So ladies, we just finished this unbelievable, wonderful event here at Joan of Arc, and it was packed. You had to add more tables, more chairs, and I think you were shocked at how many women showed up at this event, and it was really blessed by God. It was beautiful, and everything went really well. And the thing is, when I'm speaking, and everyone out there that has watched me, I'm watching you. Everyone's looking at me. All eyes are on me when I'm up there giving my talk, but my eyes are on you, and it is amazing what I see. And as I'm talking at different points, I could tell different women were started to cry, or certain things hit this woman, or some are nodding their head like, yes, ma'am, let's go. You know, like it's really beautiful, this transformation in women that I'm seeing happen right in front of me. And you can just tell the different parts that's touching the different hearts and minds of these women in the audience. And you really never know what God's going to do with that woman. You know, that young man that stood up and spoke when it changed my life, I don't even think he knows what he did for me. And look at the ripple effect in my life, you know? So these women today, who knows their ripple effect here? It's really beautiful. So starting with you, I want you to tell me, because you're kind of ahead and you kind of contacted me in the beginning, and there's 4 of you, so just state your name when you answer your question, because I'm going to be honest, I don't remember. I'm really bad with names. I know everyone at home. It's so bad. So
Rachel Jackson.
Rachel is the one that contacted me and was texting me, and she was just wonderful. And there were several of these women that were in contact with me, but I think because when it got closer, there were things you needed from me that you were texting me more, so that's why I remembered.
Yes.
But with that being said, what led you personally to want to be a part of something like this? Because there are women at home who know deep in their heart and hear those little whispers from God, I should be doing this, but I don't think I can, or I'm embarrassed, or I don't have the resources, or yada, 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 excuse. What made you want to get involved in something like this? And how long have you been involved in this women's group that you put on here?
So I started 13 years ago when my oldest daughter was 2 years old. I was actually working outside of the house. And so there wasn't any mothers group that was for women who were working. So I was a new mom working outside of the house. I wanted that connection with other mothers. I wanted the faith aspect. So when we had a priest that had just recently joined our parish, I contacted him and said, hey, I would love to start a mom's group. And he was so supportive and so kind and so willing to help out. And he's like, yes, I agree. We do need a mom's group here. And I will help you with whatever you need. And so for the first year of our mom's group, he was there every meeting.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah. It was amazing.
He needs a shout out.
Oh, it's Father Peter.
Yes. Thank you, Father Peter.
Yes, we love him so much. And so he was just so supportive, and his devotion to Mary is just amazing. And he brought us closer, I think, as a group. I'm getting chills just because he brought me to pray the rosary more often and to just be closer to Mary as a mother. Like that was something that I always didn't really have. Like we would pray the rosary maybe like for funerals, but really not,
he was like
daily.
A real pastor in every sense of the word.
He was so great.
That's awesome.
And then, these 2 ladies next to me were Amy too, but Rachel Capra and Alicia Bergman were there from the beginning. And we just grew and grew and grew our group and just grew our friendship and watched our ups and our downs of motherhood and just watched our children grow. And it's just been so amazing. And I'm just so thankful and just so blessed to have such a great community of mothers. And to be at St. Joan of Arc now, we moved our group, 6 years ago, I think. Father Nathan, big shout out to Father Nathan as well. He has been so supportive too. He, like anything that we ask, he's willing to help us with whatever we want. Just asking you to come out here was amazing because I was like, by the way, she's going to be this much money and we're going to have to fly her out here. So it was just, Our budget, by the way, just got kind of like, we kind of exceeded our budget, but it was just, but he knows that he wants to support the moms as well. And and he knows how important it is to have this community. And so I just really thank him as well, because it's just been such a blessing.
And what you put on here today and how many women showed up, it was beautiful.
Yes.
It was beautiful. Yes. Wow. It was really remarkable. Even at Mass this morning when we went, all the women that showed up there, it was pretty awesome. So
I think that's the key phrase is showed up. I feel like ever since we started, we've all
Yes.
and we show up for each other, just because Jesus is in the center of it. And so we've been showing up for each other for so long that I know other people, more secular culture, they don't have that. They don't have that. It's missing, and it's so huge.
Yes.
For our families.
Everyone wants that connection and feeling like someone understands them and has their back and supports them. And it's just been a beautiful thing. Praise for them. Yes. Or just jumps in. The Holy Spirit, he's just amazing how he works through all of you. And, you're having a day and all of a sudden a text will pop up. And I'm like, how'd they even know I needed that message? Like they didn't, obviously, but they listened to the whisper. And
the
we're
Holy
there.
Spirit,
And all women want it. I mean, think of our group. We started as this little core kind of flailing, like, what do we do? We just know we want to be together. And then,
so when you started that, what brought you all to start that? Like when you're in that group and you know you want to do something, what direction or how did the Holy Spirit kind of just lead you to that? Because some women are in that same exact raw place right now. And I want to encourage them not to be afraid and that just keep moving forward. And if God has brought you other women to help you in this, that there may be something there, and not to shy away or back down, but that you embrace what God's calling you to. And obviously, if he doesn't want something, he's going to stop it, and maybe he's just testing that obedience in you, and he's done that in my life sometimes. But if it bears fruit, there's something there, right? And over time, things have grown for you. And it's gotten bigger and it is expanded and it's become this now that it's for fruit and you can see the fruit, right? It's beautiful. So how did you get from point A to point B?
I think it was just getting the right people to be involved, the right people that want to help out and want to participate. And know that we all have different crosses that we bear too. Like that is exactly what we needed to help each other out, because everyone has their own cross. Everyone needs some sort of healing, and to help each other out and to have that support is amazing. And I know for me personally, I have a lot of crosses and healing that I still need to work with. And just to have their support has been so helpful. So
I think what's so beautiful about a mom's group as well is the community. So I started the mom's group at a neighboring church, and after COVID, because COVID happened and I was crushed by COVID because I'm this extrovert who constantly needs to be places and be with people to get my energy. And I was just crushed by it. And then when we started back at school, we had like a home mom's group because we couldn't do anything formal that year, but it thrived and it flourished and people craved each other. And one thing that I noticed about our moms groups are when someone needs something, we're there in a heartbeat. There was a mom here this summer who got a phone call. I ran into her like registration day at school and I was like, "Are you okay?" She's crying. She's like, "I'm getting my sister's baby. I have to go down to Colorado Springs and pick up my sister's baby. And I have nothing. I don't even have a crib. I have nothing." I sent out a mom's group email, and that day she was set for like a year. With diapers, meal trains, cribs, high chairs, everything, just from the one mom's group. When I had my last baby, I don't think I cooked a meal for 2 months because moms brought me food every day. It was wonderful. So the community and the way we lift each other up is incredible.
Right, and not to be afraid to start that. If God has put that on your heart, and that's why I wanted to do this show, just don't kind of back down or shy away from those small promptings of the Holy Spirit. And that's where we kind of have to be careful, though, ladies, of how do we know and how do we discern those whispers? Is this of God, or is this of the evil one? Or is this maybe me just busying myself because I don't want to really deal with my problems at home, and I'm just doing good works outside of the home so I feel better about what's going on in the home, Like we really have to decipher. So how did you all decipher? We can start with you, Alicia.
Well, I know that we prayed a lot about what we wanted to do. And we started with some Catholic book studies. And that was really helpful because it guided us. And it was ones that were reputable and that we had heard good things about. And I'm forgetting some of the names of the authors, but those like Hindi was one.
Lisa Hindi, yeah. She's CatholicMom.com.
Okay.
She's the one that kind of helped me and lead me through starting this mom's group. So that was really helpful for her. There wasn't very much out there that, like when we first started, there wasn't very much, but I feel like now there's so much information to just help, but just also connecting with your pastor, like your priest, and just at church, because that's what I did with both times. And it just was so helpful to know that they're there to support you as well.
And we did a video series, and we did find, I know at one point I had suggested something that we started watching, and it was Catholic, but it wasn't really addressing the moms. And so we found that wasn't as helpful. And so we redirected, so to be open to that, I feel like the Holy Spirit was just kind of saying, let's try a different route.
Avenue.
Change directions.
And we were able to pivot and do that.
Well, and I think the first thing that we need to do to hear what the Lord is calling us to is to know him first. If we don't have a personal relationship with Jesus, how can we know his voice? So to know him, to pray, and to have a relationship with him is critical to knowing what he would like us to go on mission for.
That makes a lot of sense. Again, if you just tuned in, you are listening to Women Made New on EWTN Radio, and I am talking with these 4 beautiful women who just put on this amazing conference here. I am in Denver, Colorado at Joan of Arc Church in Arvada specifically, and I did a talk, my Women Made New talk, and there was a huge group of women here that they brought together. And it was beautiful to see what the promptings of the Holy Spirit on all of these beautiful women and on their heart, and they listened to it and they brought me out here and just what they did today. And it was wonderful. And I saw these women just out there as I'm talking, even just little transformations. And some of them were crying, and some of them were just like, God was working on their heart. And others were just in the back like, yes, that's right, yes. And there's a grandma in the way back at one point. Did you see that? She put her hand up. She's like, yes. And I'm like, I almost, in the middle of my talk, I almost said, do you have a question? But she was just like, no, it wasn't that. She was just like, yes.
She was just encouraging
She was very encouraging. And so she was my little cheerleader back there, but it was just awesome. It was awesome to see. And just some of these women, that light come alive inside of them, that you can just see it happen as they were sitting there all the way to the end of the talk was beautiful. Because like I said, you all see me, but I see all of you and what God is doing. And sometimes it's magnificent. In high schools, it's a little different. You're talking about certain things. It's just like, okay, you're thinking, okay, get the one time, no joke, everybody. Full disclosure here, I'm up on stage, Jason and I, and as I'm going through my dump him list, this girl literally gets her hand from her boyfriend that had it around her shoulders, gets his finger and takes it off like some dirty slug, and gets it off and puts it in his lap. And she just leaned away from him and shook her head. And I was like, that just happened. It was insane. Like right in front of me, I was like, wow. And I just tried not to look and pay attention and look over them. But wow, it was amazing. So there's a lot of transformation. Well, I'm talking, or Jason and I are talking together, that God is working on these people in the audience. And it's quite amazing to see, right?
Yes.
It's quite amazing to see. So tell me a little bit about your own, each individual walk with Jesus, and how did you get to know him? Because a lot of people are even uncomfortable saying that, or even saying, well, I have a personal relationship with Jesus, because that seems like a Protestant saying, but it's not. That is my Jesus. I am Catholic, and I saw him this morning at Mass, and I do have a personal relationship with him. But what did that look like for each of you, starting with you?
So my name's Amy, and I'm cradle Catholic. Went to church every Sunday growing up, had my own struggles in high school and college, as most people do. It was my motherhood that I would call my conversion. And after I had my oldest daughter, I started going to adoration. I stayed home. I'm a nurse and a fertility care practitioner. And so I started staying home with her. I started going to adoration and daily mass, and just slowly the Lord transformed me. Very slowly. He didn't do anything because he knows I can't handle it, anything wild. It was just a slow progression of deepening our relationship with each other, praying the rosary every day, and just talking to him, learning how to pray, learning how to not only talk to him, but let him talk back and listen. Just kind of zip my lips. I talk all the time. So he has to get over me, my voice. He's loud enough, thankfully, sometimes.
That's the truth. I understand that. It took me a while to understand. I didn't always need to be talking in adoration. Yeah. I didn't always need to be praying. I think it was a nervousness too of not knowing what to do. So I just kept doing, right? And because it was hard for me to be silent. I mean, it was hard for me to go to bed at night in the silence, to be by myself, but then to be in front of God, and be quiet. That was a whole different world, ladies. That was an intimidating world. But if you can go in there and find that silence with Jesus, and he really does speak to you. And people think, well, he's not going to really talk to me. Yes, he will really talk to you in his own way. Right? And not everybody will be the same. And maybe it's through scripture, or maybe it's through the rosary and meditation, or maybe you'll hear that small, still voice in your heart. It's different for everyone. But You're not excluded, no matter who you are. What about you?
Well, I was baptized Catholic at birth, and then my parents left the Catholic Church, and I was raised Protestant. I read the Bible. I was in Bible quiz. We did all the, Sunday morning, Sunday evening, Wednesday evening, youth group, all the things, Bible summer camp. I always have loved Jesus my whole life. And then I met my husband in college and converted to Catholicism, honestly, 100% honesty, solely for my husband, because he was not going to leave his faith. And I wanted us to be united. And I did want to receive communion at my wedding. So I converted. And to be honest, I really struggled with Mary, with the saints, with the Eucharist. I was going through the motions a lot, not fully knowing or believing. So it was a slow process for me, too, after I joined the church. And I really feel like when Father Peter came into my life, I just wanted what his example of his love for Mary, his love for the Eucharist, his respect, his reverence. I wanted it so bad, and I wanted to know what it was. What was I missing? And I was going through the motions, but I wasn't feeling. I loved Jesus, but I just didn't fully know. And it's still a journey, but I feel like the moms group and Father Peter, it just started me down this path, like my eyes, the blinders were off. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. This is the Catholic faith? This is amazing. Like how
Catholic all the way.
I've been now I'm for real. No, I'm just
real life. That little voice is real life.
Yes, but it's truly a journey, and it's still a journey, because I feel like it's just this bottomless, amazing pool of just beauty and depth to our faith that you can't go deep enough. There's always more to know and more to learn and more to love. And I feel like an open wound. I go into adoration and I'm just like, you're here. I can't believe you're here. And I'm here. And I get it now. Like, I understand. It's really been beautiful. I feel like there's a sense of awe and wonder, especially recently. And people like you coming to speak to us, it just puts me on fire. Like, yes. And
That's good.
he is so good.
There's something to be said about something that you said there that you actually see, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there was this time in my life where it's like the scales almost came off my eyes,
Mm-hmm.
and I was able to see the fullness of the Catholic Church to my extent and ability and where I'm at in my spirituality,
Right.
of course. But there's something about these worldly scales that keep you from seeing the truth of the church, right?
Yes.
In your sin and in your just pride and everything I was going through. But there was this moment where I really embraced it, and I'm like, no, I am Catholic.
Yes.
It's like, there are these moments, and I don't know if either or all of you have experienced that, but these scales come off and you're able to see Jesus in that Eucharist. You're able to believe, you're able to embrace Mary. You're able to wow, I really do have a heavenly mother that watches over me. And she is no joke. Like, she is a commander of the heavenly angels. Like, I love it. It's the best. But we really have a family, a whole different family, and especially people that don't have a family. Especially people that maybe didn't grow up with a father or a mother or having just a family in general. Like, you have a heavenly family praying for you and cheering you on, that's there for you. And it takes a bit. It does take a bit to kind of embrace and kind of get there and wrap your head and your mind and your spirit around it. But it's there, right? And it's beautiful. Okay, we are going to take a quick break with our friends over at EWTN, but we will be back, so stay tuned.
Mother Angelica, answering the call.
We have another call. Hello?
Yeah, hi, this is Sherry Mother Angelica. You're just beautiful.
Thank you.
First of all, I was born and raised totally Catholic. 2 years ago, I went through and committed myself totally to the Lord.
Good.
Born again Christian. Mm-hmm. My question is, when I was raised totally as Catholic, when I go through the Bible and I read, and it does say you must be born again.
Yes.
It just doesn't make sense to me. When I was raised Catholic, they didn't really bring it up that much as far as why you should be born again and so forth.
I think it is our fault that we don't understand, we don't explain to our people what it means to be born again. You were born again at baptism. Here's this little baby. It's just a human being with a soul, and crying and yelling and screaming, doesn't know beats. Only thing it expresses is hunger. But that little baby, after baptism, has within it the very God who created it. Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. That's born again. The apostles were born again. What does that mean? It means a metanoia, a total change. You cannot read the lives of the saints and not know that St. Augustine, believe me, was born again. We call it conversion. They call it born again. If you're talking about feelings, well, we got saints that went, crawled up and raised up into the sky and into trees and into ceilings, and we raised the dead and we healed the sick and exorcised demons. Read the lives of the saints. And believe me, you see some born again people. Mary of Egypt was a prostitute at 12. Went into the desert. She got so holy, people came in droves just to ask her prayers. You call it born again. We call it conversion by the power of Jesus.
For more about Mother Angelica, visit EWTNRC.com.
Welcome back to Women Made New. I'm your host, Crystalina Ever. Thank you for joining me and tuning in. Today, I am here with these 4 beautiful ladies that put on this amazing conference. For those of you that just tuned in, I am in Arvada, Colorado, and I came out here to give my presentation, Women Made New. And it was absolutely quite remarkable how many women showed up for the talk, and they were even frantically just putting more tables and more chairs and more because women came, and it was really beautiful, the response. And I wanted to interview these 4 ladies because it's not easy to put something like this on, and it can be scary and hard at times. And not that I want you to go home and put a Women Made New conference on. No, I want you to go home, and I want women who are at home listening or driving and just know that God has put something on your heart, and that you have everything you need to start whatever it is God is asking you to do. And maybe it's scary, maybe it's overwhelming, maybe you feel like you don't have the resources, the time, or the knowledge. But if God is putting something on your heart right now, there is a reason, a purpose, and a plan, and apparently you are the one to execute it. And it's not to be taken lightly, ladies. And it's important, and it matters. And you never know whose life and heart you can touch by just saying yes. And that's what every single one of these women have done. I have 4 beautiful women here, and they all said yes. And this is what transpired and evolved, and we are here talking about it. And when we left for our break, we were just kind of going to each individual woman talking about their faith walk and how they really embraced that, and where they kind of came from and where they are now. So we'll go to Alicia now.
Okay, well, I was raised Catholic, but I didn't receive a strong catechesis, or the program that I was in was very loosely organized. And so I don't remember ever really praying the rosary, but I did have faithful parents, a faithful family. But then I went off course, much like Crystalina. I was the wild child. I made a lot of mistakes, and I was really far from Jesus. But in her talk today, she mentioned that you still have your conscience, and it still talks to you even when you're in the depths of the darkness. And that is true. That was true for me. I still had that voice. I chose to ignore it and not be obedient many times, but it was definitely there. As I grew older, I started realizing how much more important my faith was to me. And it started playing a role in my relationships. When I was dating people who weren't, believers, it was becoming more of an issue to me. So I guess I was growing in my faith, but didn't realize that that was what was happening. I was going to the church on a regular basis. But to this day, I would say I still need a lot of healing from my past. And I'm going to take your advice, Crystalina, and go to adoration right after this and ask for that transformation and just not be afraid to ask Jesus to just help me with that and maybe even seek some additional counseling. I will say that my faith journey grew tremendously with my husband and I when we struggled with infertility. And there are so many options in the world today about what you can do. And we took some steps in the medical world, and we were so conflicted about what God wanted us to do. And so deep in my gut, I felt like we were not being called to some of those options. And we had to go through this struggle and this complete surrender as a couple to arrive at adoption. And God has blessed us ever since. Like I would never change a thing about it now. We both feel so incredibly blessed. And just, God's so good how he can't be outdone. My daughter looks like me and my son looks like my husband. It is crazy. They get it all the time.
They're adopted. It's
It's so fun. So I feel like that really helped cement our relationship too, and just surrendering to God and seeing the blessings that came from our surrender. And so it's something we're still learning along the way, right? Like every day there needs to be another surrender, it seems like. But it's been a beautiful journey, and I look forward to continuing it in the Catholic faith. And I just can't wait. I just love pouring it into my children as much as I can now, and my husband too, because I want them to have what I didn't at a much younger age.
Yes, exactly.
To be equipped, right, for all that's to come. So
that's right. And what about you, Rachel?
So I was also a cradle Catholic. My mom was our spiritual rock. My dad, not so much, not all. So when I was in 8th grade, he went to prison for 10 years. It shattered our family. Like, he shattered our family. Lots of brokenness. But it was my faith. I remember crying in a corner saying, God, why? But I heard a voice saying, it'll be okay.
Wow.
So that really, really helped me, because I knew God was real, and that without my faith, I don't know if I would be here, you know what I mean? So it was the aspect of my faith that made it stronger. And I just had some really, really great friends in high school that helped me through this as well. I got married really early at 20, but we did it. We talked to a priest. My husband was not Catholic at the time, but we were still able to get married in the church. And we did the engaged encounter retreat. So we really knew that the Catholic faith is what we wanted our family to be raised in, to be Catholics as well. And then a few years later, my husband and I did the RCA program together, which also grew our faith even stronger. And then a year later, we had our first baby. And then 2 years later, that's when I started the moms group. So I really honestly feel like, without the Catholic faith, I don't think I would be here, just helping. And then I grew stronger, after I had our first daughter with Mary as well, just having Mary by my side. But so that's what I mean when I had struggles and crosses throughout my life. There was a lot of crosses that I had to bear. And I'm so thankful that there's so many support here, my friends and family. And that was my journey.
It's interesting because I talk about in my talk, what do you do when the ground falls beneath you, right? What is that net that is catching you? Is it Netflix? Is it social media? Is it binging? Is it clothes? Is it shopping? Is it God? Everybody at some point in their life, the ground will fall beneath you. I don't care who you are. We are all sinners, and we're all dealing with real life here, right? And at some point it happens, but what is going to catch you? And all of you know the answer in your heart to that. And mine back in the day was alcohol and drugs and sleeping around and finding love in the wrong places and going to clubs and blacking out or whatever it is. That is not a net. That is like a almost a net that catches you and drags you to hell, let's be honest, but what is it when the ground falls beneath you? And it's got to be Jesus. If Jesus is your foundation, you've got this. You can handle any demon coming at you in this world, right? But without Jesus, you've got nothing. You can't fight against that. And the spirit of the world right now is something vicious coming after us, coming after our families, coming after our kids, coming after our marriage, coming after our ministry. I mean, it's infecting everything and everyone. You can't go anywhere in the world to hide from any of the nonsense right now. It seems like it's this full-blown assault, let's go, wartime kind of thing happening in the church. And it's like, you want to be on the right side of that, right? And I was at this massive conference, and afterwards, because they had this huge monstrance, they were carrying Jesus around during adoration to everybody, like up and down the aisles. And it was magnificent. And it's like all these just college students and teens just like grasping just to get as close as they could to Jesus kneeling down there. And you could see on the big Megatron or whatever, Jumbotron, them just like leaning in when he would pass by, like they just wanted to just be right there. And I'm just thinking to myself, oh my gosh, first of all, I know him. Like, I'm close with him. It was like, it was awesome. But I asked the priest afterwards, right? Like, it was just beautiful seeing all these teens and just how they just want Jesus, right? And they were open to him. But afterwards, because Jesus had an entourage, ladies, there were like so many priests. They had the monstrance was so big. They needed priests at every different station to carry it because it was so big. Like, not one priest could carry it throughout this arena. And I went and I asked the priest, I said, you were one of the priests that carried Jesus. I said, was he heavy? And he goes, oh my goodness, young lady, he was so big and heavy. But it was the most magnificent time that I had. And he goes, my brother priest was actually thinking of leaving the priesthood. And he was one of the priests that carried Jesus for that short amount of time. And after he was done carrying him, he said he started crying and saying, how could I be on the other side of this? How could I leave this? And it saved his priesthood, being like right there, face to face with his Savior in Jesus and carrying the Eucharist. It transformed him in that evil and that decision. And if you are struggling at home and you're having a hard time and you don't know what to do or which way to go or the ground is fallen beneath you, go to Jesus in the Eucharist. I know it may not seem like he can do anything. What is that little piece of bread? And what kind of power does that even have over my life? Just go and see. Just go and sit before him, and you never know what God can do. But you never know unless you go and you actually show up to your own fight, everyone. You've got to show up to your own fight. It's time. The time is now. It is Saturday. I say this every show that I've ever broadcasted. It is Saturday, everybody. And what does Saturday mean? Especially here on Women May New, you go to confession. Saturdays mean confession. And there is nothing more important than being right with God. Nothing more important on earth right now in this moment than being right with God. And this afternoon, most churches around the United States will be open for you to go to confession. So to go, don't be afraid. Don't hold on to that sin, and go to bed tonight being at peace and waking up anew with God and showing up at Mass peaceful and not having this weight on you. But go if you can. And if you don't know where there is an adoration chapel, or if you don't know where there's a confession that you can go to near you, you can go to womenmaynew.com and go down to the little box that says faith, and you can type in your zip code and find the closest Mass, adoration chapel, and confession near you, because we are not about excuses at Women Made New. We are all about equipping women and women helping women. So with that being said, ladies, as we come to a close, I would like each of you, as I go around to you, what is like that one piece of advice that you can give women at home? If it's a mom struggling, if it's someone struggling in their faith, or if it's someone that you can just think of yourself back in the day, or whatever advice that you want to put out there. I'm going to go to each one of you, and what advice do you have for women listening right now, or priests or men or whatever it is? But what advice do you have?
Just talking about what we're talking about, I'm just reminded that Satan is a sniper, and he knows your weakness. He knows where the weakness in your armor is. And so you need to know yourself. You need to know what your weaknesses are, and you need to know how he manipulates them. So Ephesians 6? Put on the armor of God. It's in Ephesians. Look it up, armor of God. You need to put on that armor because you have to be protected from his arrows, because he aims to kill and he will kill if you let him get through.
Yes, hoorah! I love that. That was awesome. Don't be intimidated. Everybody's advice. That's going to be amazing.
That is amazing.
Next, what would you have to say?
Well, I was given advice recently by a priest that I said, I'm going to adoration. I'm doing these things, and I don't feel like it's doing anything. So you just feel like, oh, I can just go to the grocery store, get more laundry done, and I'll just skip adoration. And he said, it's like you're in the presence of the sun. You don't feel it. You don't even have to do anything, but you stand outside long enough and it will affect your skin. Things are going to happen. So he said, just go and things will happen without you doing anything. It's not about you. Basically, we have to put ourselves aside and be with Jesus. Make the time, make the effort. Even when you don't want to, or you can think of 100 reasons not to, do it anyway, because there will be great rewards. And you may not see them right away or ever, but just be assured that it's there. So
I'd say also seek support from your community. Just having that support is so helpful, and to lift each other up. I know you had mentioned also, like, we're not competing with each other. We should lift each other up. And so I think that is important. And just to seek Mary, and like you said, St. Joseph. I know I seek St. Joseph so much because I never really had a father figure. So having St. Joseph as my, spiritual father is just so amazing. And he's wonderful.
No, that's right, ladies. And everybody has a seat at God's table. No one is excluded. Everybody has a seat. Everybody has a voice. And the person sitting next to you or across from you is no better and is not in competition. That we are all here and we bring the gifts that God has given us in our own way. And even if they are similar gifts, they're not your gifts. Those are your gifts that God has given you individually for your specific purpose, for your specific plan, and to not worry about what other people in the world are doing, but worry about what you are doing, right? And we are not women of the world, we are women of God, and we get on our knees and we seek his will first, then we set out and then we go. But until you do that, you'll end up having problems in your life because we're going outside and not inside like we should to get our direction from God. Alicia.
Speaking of St. Joseph, my husband and I did the consecration to St. Joseph last year, and we would just get up a little bit early in the morning and have that time together. And that was just such a good habit and routine for us that when it was over, we both realized that we kind of missed that time together. And so we've been trying to do that on a more regular basis. Now it's once a week, not every morning, but just staying connected to one another and praying for one another makes me at least feel like, okay, we're on the same team. We've got Jesus helping us, Mary helping us, Joseph helping us through each day, and to kind of just keep going back as a couple to the, our power, our source of Jesus Christ. And that just seems to, I don't know, otherwise we get caught up in just the busyness of things and, we're kind of flying by each other and just talking about schedule changes and, getting people to practice, but not, our real goal is to get to heaven and to get our children to heaven and to get each other to heaven. And so just making that time as often as we can to reconnect in a spiritual way has been really helpful for us. So trying to do that.
Ladies, I want to just thank you for just being so open, being so honest, and just being here and just being such a gift to all the other women listening to you right now. And really that's what it's all about, is women helping women uplifting each other with our crosses and with our joys and just with our struggles. That's what it's all about. And that's what Jesus wants from us. That's what God, the Father, wants of us, is to help each other get to heaven. And it's just beautiful to see how all of you have just worked together and what you've done here in your own community. And that, ladies listening, you can do it at home too, and just go to prayer and just see what God is asking, and always make Jesus the center, and you will always be going in the right direction no matter what he's asking. As long as he is the center of it all, you're exactly where you need to be. But go to confession. Today is Saturday. Know that you are all in my prayers. And thank you, ladies, really genuinely from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for your openness and being here and being a gift to my listeners. So God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank my guests again for being here and their courage and their honesty and just giving us a little window into their life and their journey and having the courage to share it with us, because I know some of that just resonated with me and hopefully the listeners as well. So God bless those women, and please keep them in your prayers. Now, ladies, I am so excited and happy and feel so blessed. And I want to bless you as well with the learning series that is coming out that is just such a gift from God. And I never could have imagined what God was going to do with Women Made New and this book with all these amazing contributors and other strong women of God. And the learning series launching page is live. So that means you can go to EWTN.com/Women Made New. Again, EWTN.com/Women Made New. And that is the main landing page for signing up. And go below and you can fill out all the information. And so once the series launches and goes live online, you will be notified and you can start. So coming in June, coming very soon, we're all going to start. And there are women signing up all over the world. And I am just so excited to do this as well with you. So tell your mother, your daughters, your aunts, your friends, or people that you know that just need help and that could use that extra encouragement in their lives, because things aren't easy. And as much as we want to put it out there that we just have it together, and I know what it's like to stuff your stuff and act like nothing's wrong and that you're not hurting or you aren't carrying these huge gaping wounds around that aren't affecting your loved ones. I know what it's like to live like that. And it doesn't have to be that way, and that you can be healed, that you can become this strong, unbelievable woman of God. And he wants to heal. He wants to restore you. He wants you to start over. And he has got just so much waiting for you on the other side of all of that yuck. And honestly, straight up, the only way is to go through. There's no way around it. There's no shortcuts, ladies. Trust me, I tried and it just caused more problems. So this is an opportunity. This is an invitation. And the beautiful thing is, Women Made New truly, and the heart of it is Jesus at the center, and that Women Made New is women helping women, women uplifting women, supporting each other, helping each other to grow and to become whatever it is that God has called you to be. And we're here to love you, embrace you, support you, and help you on your healing journey. So sign up today. Our arms are open wide and welcome, and join this family of EWTN, because it truly is a family where you can just have that spiritual support and prayer and just know people have your back, and where you can learn and educate yourself. And also now you can do this learning series and heal. So again, go to EWTN.com/Women Made New. And I wanted you to hear from some other ladies, Catherine Hadrow and Joy Pinto, that are a part of this. So here we go with them.
We are on location in Alabama filming the online study series for Women Made New, the online learning series. And Crystalina, I cannot wait for this to go live, because this is something I'd say relatively new for the network that they're doing. If you have this book, Women Made New, if you don't have it already, this will be your sisterhood coming together. It's a book study that you can join us virtually from home. And it's a perfect reflection of this book, of the sisterhood of this book. Now this learning series is a lived reality of that coming together. It's been so fun to be filming with Crystalina these past few days here. And again, just so excited to put that out there. And I can't wait to learn from these other women as well.
It was a long, wonderful day. We had a great makeup team, and they helped because your face changes by the end of the day for women over 60. Anyway, but it was a beautiful experience. I know that it's going to enrich your life journey. You want to be a part of it. So when this thing hits it, you want to make sure you're a part of it. You're listening, you're seeing, you're learning, and you're becoming the best version of yourself, a woman made new.
And the director of Women Made New. So that's another treat. So here we go. Okay, everyone, I am here with Diana Ogden, and she is the director of Women Made New Learning Series for EWTN. So what do you think about this project? You're kind of heading it up in regards to all the filming and bringing it all together for us. What do you think?
I think this is a phenomenal project, and whoever watches this is going to hear from 8 incredible women with very compelling and very heartfelt stories that I think will resonate with anyone who watches the series. It's my job to bring those stories forward and to present these incredible women in the best light possible, and for you to connect with them and to get to know them and get to know their stories and walk away enriched from their wisdom and their inspirational words and the experiences they've had. So I hope everyone takes a moment to watch this and really listen to what these women have to say, because I think you're going to benefit greatly from the whole series.
I wanted to wrap the show up with a beautiful quote from Mother Angelica, who I just love, admire, and look up to, and she is just such a powerhouse. And the quote is, "Let us not be confused by the talents and mission of other saints. Let us be the kind of saints that we were created to be." Mother Angelica. And I know that may seem hard or far off, or I couldn't even accomplish that. And I used to think that, and I still do on a certain level. But again, you are invited, and Jesus is calling you, and do not be afraid. And just remember, you are shackled to nothing and no sin, and God is waiting for you. So go see Jesus at Adoration, go to confession today, start over, and go sign up for this learning series, ladies, and just join us. And we are happy to have you. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, everyone. God bless.
Hello, friends, and welcome to another segment of the Wonders of His Mercy. I'm Father Wade Menezes of the Fathers of Mercy for EWTN. I'd like to share with you a paragraph from the Universal Catechism of the Catholic Church, number 675. Quote, "Before Christ's second coming, the Church must pass through a final trial that will shake the faith of many believers. The persecution that accompanies her pilgrimage on earth will unveil the mystery of iniquity in the form of a religious deception, offering men an apparent solution to their problems at the price of apostasy from the truth. The supreme religious deception is that of the Antichrist, a pseudo-messianism by which man glorifies himself in place of God and of his Messiah come in the flesh." Friends, it's a wonderful act of mercy on God's part that He has revealed to us through sacred scripture, sacred tradition, and the magisterium of Holy Mother Church, her teaching office, these truths regarding the end times. By knowing these truths, every generation can read its own signs of the times to avoid precisely religious deception and apostasy from the truth, so as to work out one's salvation with filial love of God and love of neighbor. These truths, my friends, are indeed just some of the wonders of His mercy.